If you are currently in the United States without documents or you've overstayed your visa, you might be asking, is it safe for me to start my immigration case? Should I file or should I wait? Hi, I'm attorney Megan Pastrana of Immigration for Couples, and my firm is dedicated exclusively to helping couples across the nation and world and navigating the U.S. immigration process. If you haven't already done so, please be sure to subscribe so you're notified when I release future videos. I release videos on a regular basis on topics in the realm and world of couple based immigration. And I also invite you to join me on my next weekly live chat at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. I host the chat on YouTube and Facebook, so you can follow our Facebook page as well, Immigration for Couples. But during that live event, I am available to answer your questions live. So I hope that you can join me for the next session, which will be Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. So let's dive into this topic. This is actually a question that I've been asked recently a lot on the live events. And I've also had a lot of individuals who've called the office and asked that they're concerned and they're worried about whether or not it's safe to file. Questions range anywhere from, I've overstayed my tourist visa and now I'm married and I'd like to start the adjustment of status process, or I'm in the country, I entered without documents and we'd like to start a provisional waiver process, but I'm concerned and wondering, should I just wait? Should I wait for things to get better? And I understand why I'm receiving these questions. The current political climate has caused everyone to feel very unnerved and afraid, and it's causing a paralysis that you just feel like you can't even make a decision and you don't even want to take the next step. And there are definitely risks right now in the world of immigration for those who decide to start an immigration case. And here is the reality. There's always a risk for an individual who is currently here without documents. So, if you've entered without documents or if you've overstayed your visa, for anyone who is currently here without status, you are at risk every day. And so it really comes down to putting in balance the risk of not taking action and staying in the same place and being worried every single day, and the risk of filing your application and sharing your information with immigration. Could they use those details to begin proceedings? Yes, possibly they can use your details and information, and the benefits. So those are the risks. And then putting in balance the benefit. What is the benefit of not filing? Well, you have this illusion of safety, and you might feel like that's safer, but you're not. There is no benefit of being one day closer. Whereas if you file an immigration case, you are literally one day closer to your green card because you have taken action. Now, please hear me when I say doesn't come as a judgment at all, but when a person is afraid, and this is for all of us as human beings, there can be, like I said earlier, a paralysis that you're just so afraid, you just don't even know what next step to take, and you're afraid to take action. In this current administration, that's actually a technique or a tactic that they're using, is causing so much fear and confusion that individuals are so afraid that they're paralyzed, that they're frozen, and they're not taking those next steps. But filing an application has a ton of benefits. The most important being that you're one day closer to having your green card. Another benefit is that if you already have an application filed, if you were to have contact with immigration or if they decide to start deportation proceedings, you are in a much better position already having an application filed as opposed to having nothing filed, having taken no steps, and then having contact with immigration and you're here without documents. So it's a much better position to be in if you already have an application filed. It will give you leverage. It will give you a lot of different options, and there'll be strategy decisions that it will help your immigration attorney to help you to navigate the immigration courts and those deportation proceedings. So there's a lot of benefits to filing. And I understand if you're feeling afraid, and you don't have to file your application today, but what I encourage you to do is take an affirmative step. What is an affirmative step? What is something that you can do today? Well, you can make an appointment and talk with an immigration attorney. And I'm not just saying that because I'm an immigration attorney. I genuinely want you to reach out to the immigration attorney with whom you feel most aligned and have an appointment. Maybe have a few appointments with different immigration attorneys. This is a really important step in your life, and interviewing different law firms and attorneys to understand who is going to be the best fit, what is the advice they are giving me. That is a really important first step that you can take that will allow you to be one day closer to receiving your green card. And then from there, after you've spoke with an immigration attorney or immigration attorneys, you can make a decision about moving forward and filing your application once you better understand the specifics of your case, the process for your case, the risks, how to mitigate those risks. So I encourage you to take that first step today to understanding, at a minimum, understanding your options so you don't have to live in fear anymore. I will also be releasing some other videos about the main options that are available to individuals in the United States without documents. So you'll want to be sure to stay tuned for those updates. And I also invite you to my free resource center at immigrationforcouples.com. Thanks so much for watching. Best of luck on your immigration journey.